Last episode, I was like pitching onewith.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, is that up
I did
yet?
a good job.
Did I miss that?
No. Like we recorded it 3 hours ago.
Okay.
It'll be up in like 2 months, like after summer. So it has no impact on
No merit
sales.
whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
Perfect. Who was it?
Piper Phillips.
Cool.
I'll introduce you on the direct messaging things of the social things.
Love it. Let's do it.
Yeah. I think she was interested.
Awesome.
Yeah. Concept wise.
Cool.
Easy concept to sell.
Easy.
What is it? Tell us onewith.
Swimsuits that fit like underwear. For women. Women swimsuits that fit like underwear.
Yeah. Men don't need swimsuits that fit like underwear.
Correct. Well, I mean, I suppose you can make the argument, but I'm fresh off of a conference today that's very male dominated and answering the question 40 times of, do you have a men's line? So I feel the need to preface women's.
I think maybe it works in the future. Kids are definitely a little more effeminate than they were previously. It might, but like those swimsuits already exist. Speedo beat you to that.
Swimsuits that are shaped like underwear, I suppose, for men.
For men.
Yes. But no, we took the concept of no-show underwear and what makes it so flattering for women and made that swimmable. So that's where our intersect lies.
I still, I get it and I see it and I've watched it from concept to reality.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I still don't get how you do it.
Okay.
Like I've heard you talk about it. I've watched you on social media talk about it.
Yes.
You have to do like your own modeling, or you don't have to, you do your own modeling. And like occasionally, you have other models, but like there's definitely periods where it's you.
Yes.
And it's almost always, I've noticed, when you're talking about the brand, that the brand definition, the brand promise, et cetera, that this fits like underwear. And I wanted it to do that.
Yes.
But I still don't understand how you do it.
Okay. I'll break it down for you. So basically, I should have brought samples, I guess. But basically, normal swimwear is sewn together with bulky seams, right? That dig and squeeze like any other seam in your clothing, but just 2 layers of swim fabric sewn together. And again, a lot of times there's elastic in there and it digs and it squeezes and it compresses. So what we did was, instead of sewing the 2 layers together, we bonded it with like an adhesive. So it's laser cut fabric bonded together with an adhesive. So it lays flat. And then we keep it up like on the body with an inner grip strip that keeps it secure without the use of tight seams or elastic. So it's a combination of that lay flat laser cut fit with that soft, flexible inner grip strip that again keeps it up.
So like most people that are wanting to be entrepreneurs, looking at this, looking at that, looking at things, like you didn't know how to do that when you came up with the concept, right?
Right.
So how do you have a concept like, oh, I want this to fit like my underwear, this type of underwear. Oh, there's nothing out there that does it. I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think there's 100 steps in there. But like, what are some of the big ones that you start to think about? If I were a young kid and you were trying to give me advice, how would you advise me to make a product real?
Totally. Well, UConn for me was instrumental in this. It really was. But in general, what I would say is absorb a lot of content on how other people brought things to life and kind of go with your gut on netting out the things that you hear in terms of how you want to proceed, which is what I did for a year, basically. Like I just absorbed so much content. I considered going back to school and like learning how to make patterns and things like that. And ultimately I landed on hiring a technical designer to help me bring it to life. But again, I had to do a lot of absorption of how things work.
So specifically, to the extent that you can share it, like what are the conversations like?
Yeah.
Because it's not done, right? So like when I think of stories, we'll go to Sarah Blakely and Spanx, right? Like, which is a similar thing.
Right.
People laughed. They're like, oh, we can't do this.
Yes.
Right? Like, did people tell you can't do this?
Absolutely.
Like, so how do those conversations go? What's it like to be trying to sell this dream and not even knowing how to do it?
Totally. Yeah. The thing is there's a book, Marie Forleo, Everything is Figure Outable. And when you start looking at life that way, people telling you no, you can't make a swimsuit that fits like underwear seems silly. So basically, whenever I was told no, it just seems silly to me. People do hard things all the time. So every time I got a no, I was like, it's just not the right person, right? So I was shopping this idea around to different technical designers who could help me bring it to life. So I knew there were a few different ways I could accomplish this. Like I had actually, and I have it still, I had a drawing of what we ended up exactly producing. I had 4 different concepts that I was kind of weighing out as to how we would actually execute this. And ultimately I had a technical designer kind of point me in the direction of the one that was the most feasible, i.e. the one that we landed on. So
now, is that the technology side, the laser cutting plus bonding?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like how we actually physically make it and accomplished it.
Yeah.
Yes, like the laser cut, the bonding, plus that adhesion of the inner grip strip inside.
The secret inner grip adhesion.
Inner grip strip, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, so how do you know what to believe in that situation? It's like a lot of the people that listen to the podcast or been on the podcast are content creators that are trying to figure out evolutions to their career and what they're doing.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like if you want to build a podcast, we were just talking about this, like you don't know what you need.
Right.
So people tell you go see an expert and they tell you, and then it turns out they're not that smart.
Completely. Yes. But also again, so it goes both ways, right? People telling you what you do need and people telling you what's not possible. So you have to have enough conviction and kind of gut to suss out what you feel is valid, right? And that is very muddy early on because you have very, very little data to back up your gut. You know what I mean? But again, people telling me it wasn't possible,
they're wrong.
They were wrong, right? Because
we made a nuclear bomb.
Right. And that was my whole point. Like,
this is much harder than that.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, I just can't accept that, you know?
What was the worst reason that you can't make underwear fit or make a bathing suit fit like underwear?
Oh,
like, did you hear do you remember any like the really bad reasons that you were just like, this person's an idiot?
Honestly, there was nothing that was that, you know, like binary, like here's why it can't happen kind of a thing. I think what just seemed so dumb to me is people just dismissing it. That's what seemed really dumb to me. Like over any other like tactile reason, people just being like,
how many
that's
of them
not
were
possible. Men? 0.
So this was women just saying, no, you can't do it.
Yeah. No, I could be wrong. Well, no, I did talk to a couple technical design firms that were headed by men.
Yeah, gender wasn't a huge factor in it. Wow.
Not in this, no.
I would have bet the other. I would have bet.
Fair.
I would have bet men would, because you see it consistently in women's wellness, women's health, women's issues. Men make decisions based upon lack of knowledge of what women want, feel, experience.
Yes.
All of those things.
Yeah. And pitching my product to men has, as you can imagine, always been a bit of a challenge, and getting them to emotionally resonate with what I'm saying because it's just tougher, you know?
What do you want to do with your life?
At the end of the day, I'm a maker. I'm a builder. Very early on, you know, it was posed to me, well, why don't you just conceptualize this and license it? And I said, and this was again really early on, before I even was talking to UConn, that I just on gut said, I don't want to do that. I want to build something. And I think my trajectory always has been making and building, and
we call that creating here.
Creatorship, right? Creatorship.
It's kind of simple, right? Like if you create something that creates value for other people, you're going to want to monetize it.
Right.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Correct. And at the end of the day, I am a creator. I will always be creating.
Building. Making.
Yes.
Architecting. Architecting is when you're really smart.
Yes. I'm not quite there.
You'll get there. You'll see all of a sudden you'll be able to see the architecting. I think about that. You have to have tremendous knowledge of things and how they interact, right? Like weird things. Because like when you make something new, you have to bring from all different places.
Right.
And so architecture of organizations, architecture of buildings, architecture of different things is like, has that design element.
Yeah.
And that creative, like, holy crap. But
Totally.
then there's like the X factor. And to me, that's like the most exciting thing. It's
Absolutely.
like, because it'll come after you have run a life cycle of a business. You'll be like, oh, I've sold this. I've done this. Like,
yes.
I could do this again with my eyes closed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to kind of get to that point, if you will. But going back to the sort of architecting of everything, I think part of that too, and it's something that I feel like I'm getting decently good at is, and you know, I'm not to say I'm perfect at it, but anticipating problems within that architecting and getting ahead of them.
For sure. That's necessary, right? And you need a certain amount of experience to be able to anticipate problems.
Yes.
So I think the intangible parts, what I'm talking about is intuition.
Yes.
Right? Oh, I've seen this just enough times to know that right there is going to get fucked up.
Correct.
Like it's gonna.
And sometimes it's not even I've seen this enough times to know. Sometimes it's it's just a knowing. You just know. Even if you've never seen it before and you have no actual evidence to back up that something is going to go the way that you think it's going to go. That is intuition. That's guided me a lot in life and also in business, specifically. Like whenever I say gut, it can be intertwined with the term intuition too.
Yeah. There's a lot of mixed up constructs that fall into that.
Yeah.
But like, how many people are touching onewith now? How many people are working on this?
I am still the only full-time person.
Yeah, but that's because you got other people.
Yes, I have contractors. I do. And I would say we're up to 7.
7? And then
plus agencies.
How many people on the vendor side that you're interacting with?
In terms of like how many factories and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, just like people you got to deal with in a business manner, right? Like to make sure you got soup to nuts. How many people are you touching?
Like you said,
touching. Yeah.
I'll go 20 to 30, let's say. But again, these aren't full-time people. These are like who we work with the most.
They still cost you emotionally
and financially.
And financially and all of those pieces, right?
Yes.
Like, so there's an art, which I'm sure you've seen evolve. And some of the folks that come on here are more like you 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where it really was just you.
Yeah.
To where, and I always say this, like, you want to scale, you're going to have to figure out how to get people to do things. What's it like being 25, 26, 27, 28 and being the boss on something like this?
I think viewing yourself as being in a position of authority, but I still always cringe if I have to say someone works for me. I most always say works with me. I view myself as like their collaborator. I understand the position I'm in, but
if onewith goes away, how many of them lose their baby?
Well, me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're the boss.
Yeah. No, I don't downplay that at all, but I get the ick when I say someone's working for me or anything like that. I really think of it as a collaboration. And I'm not saying that to be...
No, that's
it
fair.
Honestly helps me rationalize it, to be honest.
That's fair. Have you had to make like a really hard decision?
Yeah, for sure.
How many of them have to make really hard decisions about onewith?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not at the point where
You ever fire anyone yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
sometimes it's kind of
it's
amusing,
a release.
But yeah.
It's a release because by that point, often it's gotten to the point where
everyone knows.
Not even everyone knows. I am so sick over the money that we're losing, keeping that person on or whatever, that it's a Band-Aid, and you always feel better once the Band-Aid's ripped off. You know what I mean? But of course, that doesn't downplay how hard it can be, obviously. But at the end of the day, it's business. And I really do I was just saying this morning to my friend at this conference, like I take the way that I spend my money so seriously. And if something is costing me and wasting me money, it's no longer personal. It's business.
So 20 people touching onewith, your baby.
Mm-hmm.
If they screw up, they go to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they screw up, it hurts you in your stomach and in your soul
Yes.
and in all that you are. How do you get used to that feeling?
That's a good question.
Because I'll give you a second. Like I get I work with people.
Mm-hmm.
I work with people as well.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to feel empowered. I want them to feel ownership.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to feel well about the thing they're going for. Like appreciated is a great word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I'm also at the point now where I manage enough people that like you see people take advantage of what you have. You see every possible that HR is the hardest part of your job once you go over 20 people, once you go over 15 people touching what you're doing, full-time, part-time, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What does that feel like?
I think sometimes, especially as a woman, needing to be so on and sometimes like so hard about things for especially like several events in a row, you know, like cutting this contract with this person, needing to tell this person that they did, you know, messed up, whatever, that wears on me. That in terms of like what that's like, I would say that's by far the most negative. I would say is like how it makes me feel as a woman. I don't always love it, to be honest.
I don't know if it feels good as a man. I don't know what it feels like as a woman.
I think it's because I have to be in my masculine, as they say, so much. And sometimes I just want to like, you know.
Yeah. We should normalize feminine management styles. But aside from that, I've done 5 things in the last 24 hours that I should have done 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Do you ever have those days where you're like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm getting rid of these things?
Yes, I'm like actually in that process actively right now. I'm hiring a VA. I'm so excited about it.
Really?
Yes.
That's scary. VA.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what are you looking for from a VA?
I did a time study. Have you ever read Buy Back Your Time? Dan Martell. I could totally be butchering that.
I read spy novels now. Like I'm in like my Pulp Fiction era.
I love that for you.
Yeah, like I can't read things that are smart. Because things go out and they don't come back in.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, Buy Back Your Time is all about, you know, the process of delegating and, you know, why people, you know, buck up against it and all the, you know, to kind of dispel any qualms people have. And then also gives you like a template for how you can figure out where you're wasting the most time, spending the most time. I
love that you're reading a book about what I wanted to talk to you about, like how, because I think that's a really challenging thing to move from. I'm doing my own videos, I'm doing my own editing, I'm selling this, I'm selling that, I'm doing this. Now I got a company. Now I'm not just, I'm the only full-time person, but you can't do it.
No.
So
no. And
delegating's scary when it's your baby.
Completely. And a lot of it is internal conversations with myself, just telling me to grow up and get over it. Like someone else can do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? In the certain things that I'm willing to delegate at this point that I'm holding on to for no good reason. Like paying invoices. Why am I doing that? You know what
that's
I mean?
really stupid.
It's very dumb. No, it's very dumb.
Very dumb.
I tabulated it. It was crazy.
I never had any career success till I started doing that.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
The first time I had any career success was when I got an assistant. Like I don't know where to be at what time. Like if Atu doesn't tell me, I'm like lost.
But there is total merit to that though. And honestly, I have help. I have help at home. I've got help obviously with onewith. It is really hard to be all systems go for everything. And that's why I need to delegate because it's my personality.
How many times do you sit there and like, it's going to be more work for me to explain this to so-and-so than it is to just do it myself.
Yes.
And get rid of it.
You know what I started using recently?
What?
For everything, potentially overusing? Loom. I know that I've used Loom forever, but I'm talking like, here's how
If
you pay an invoice.
If you send me a Loom video,
are you deleting it?
I'm never talking to you again. That's like the
Buckle
fastest. Up. That's the fastest way to get on the list of no, I'm not talking to you.
Okay, but you.
But I don't work. I'm not.
You're not getting tasks delegated to you.
Yeah. No.
Right.
No. And the ones I do, in all fairness, are totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like there's a level of executive status where only the dumbest stuff do they
actually filters.
You.
Yeah, totally. No, that makes sense. I couldn't foresee myself sending you a Loom video, but certainly like anyone on the team, instead of me like typing out all my thoughts ad nauseum and like hoping I paint a holistic picture of what's in my head, I just send a 2-minute Loom. You know what I mean? That
super
has
helpful.
Nuance.
Super helpful.
Yeah.
Cass sent me like a voicemail.
A voice
have you
memo?
Met Cass? Yeah.
The name sounds familiar. Yeah. Okay.
She sent me one the other day and I was like, I'm not listening to this. Now my text messages translate it.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Yes. The transcripts are really nice, especially like a day like today where I'm out and about, I'm in the city and I've got them coming through and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't listen.
I can't listen.
No. And she wanted to, and she had a very good reason to do it.
Yes.
So like, we're not digging on that. We're just digging on the fact that I see it and I'm like, no.
They're very helpful. I honestly use them
context, right?
Yeah, context. And honestly, like the person I voice memo with the most is my technical designer. So the person I am the most creative with. We go back and forth almost exclusively in voice memos. And let me tell you, the amount of problem solving that has happened just from us saying things out loud and hearing the other person talk and then it creating a light bulb moment for the opposite party, if you will. It's insane.
It's like meeting and working face to face.
Crazy.
Calling people on the phone.
What?
Dude, I get that's where I hit. Okay, call this person. That's the delegation. Like, call this person and discuss it.
See,
and then it gets all messed up. And I go, how did this happen? I told you to call the person. Oh, I sent an email.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm 28. I'm turning 29. Like I'm a millennial. I'm on the cusp. Yeah. So I'm of the era where calling is still a little scary to me to tell people, to delegate things.
Now you can't even text.
Yeah. I mean, but calling is definitely.
It's the best. It's the best. My wife says
no paper trail. Don't you want paper trail?
Oh, no. You're obviously doing something entirely different than me. I want what you call deniability.
Word.
Yeah, like that's certain the whole thing. No, not everything.
I need to introduce you to PrivNote. Do you know PrivNote?
No, but sounds scary. But like, I want to talk face to face, and then I'll talk on the phone.
Okay.
And I now have a project I'm working on that I refuse to even talk on the phone. Because I think it gets digitized. And I have done no research, so I know this not at all. But I'm like,
You're going on gut.
I'm going on gut. Voice over internet protocol back in 2000. I think that's digitizing this. So no.
Yeah.
So like, I have a project. It's an awesome project. It's so good that only 3 people in the world know about it. And like, it's only done face to face.
I like that.
I won't talk about it.
Project X.
Yeah. And if you talk to me about it on text or on the phone,
deleted, blocked,
dead to me. I'm making a list of all the people I work with, like not work for Worth or work with Worth, people I work with across the board.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, these are the best people that like, I like to be around them and I like to work with them. All the way down to the people that suck.
I was going to ask if it goes both ways.
Oh, it goes all the way. And I'm making it all the way through. And then like, there's like people that are good at most anything.
Yeah.
But they're not that fun.
Now I see why you can't have anything in writing. I see.
Yeah. No, this is in writing. So I'm going to have a list and then it, like where you fall,
Fair.
Yeah.
I really like that. I mean, I have that mentally.
I'm going to cut 20% of the people from my life.
From your life. I like that.
Cut.
I'm big into that.
Done.
Burn the bridge. Don't look back. I like it.
You're going to get a nice note. I appreciated you. But it's over.
Note.
Yeah, nice note. It's over. Just so they know. I'm not into ghosting.
Okay.
I just want them to know that they are no longer welcome in my sphere. It's me, not them.
Boundaries.
But it's really them.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I'm making that list.
That's a really, really important one if you're going to be successful. And you obviously are, but I'm just saying in terms of an ingredient, that's super necessary.
I don't feel successful. So like,
That
you
could
know,
be a whole
I
other
feel like I've
podcast.
had success in certain things, but I don't feel successful. There's so much more to do. Here's why I'm doing this list.
Okay.
I've decided dying is coming really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And the people in like the last two columns, they take away from my life and what I want to accomplish.
Completely.
And so
No, trust me, I totally get that last column effect, if you will. You can't have that necessarily around if you want to be successful or you want to operate at a certain level. They say you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
that's a really intelligent way to say that.
Try.
It's a variant of, do you have a board of directors for your person?
Yeah.
Do you have this? Do you have that? Me, it's just like, I hate you and you're not good at what you do.
Are these work people or is this a mix?
So I don't have a line.
Okay. It's intermingled.
I work with friends.
Okay.
My friends are at work.
Got it.
And nothing I do is not work.
Am I going to start
What
hearing?
do you do that's not work? Like, I want to
That's
hear.
so true. Like nothing. Realistically, nothing. I
You
mean,
you don't show no guest. I've yet to meet a guest on what we're talking about, living in our world from start. Like people with 1,000 followers and oh shit, there's me. I'm up to like 150 subscribers.
hell
right?
yeah.
Like you're as small as that to like millions of followers, as small as like I have an idea for a business, I'm running a business. Not one of those people don't work all the time,
Yeah.
even when they're not working.
I mean, quite literally though. And I love it. And let me just say, I've been like this since I was a little girl. Like I've always worked on something.
My wife, who's a saint, when she's not working, she's not working. When she's hanging out with people, she's like hanging out with them. And I'm like, hey, what are you working on?
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Yeah.
How can you help me?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a meaningful personal relationship that isn't based, including in my family,
Yeah.
that isn't based on advancing the.
It's an industriousness that you can't turn off. That's how I see it. I can't really turn it off. I'm always doing something to work towards something.
What do you think would happen if you did?
If I turned off,
Yeah, you turned off.
I
When's
mean,
the last time you went on vacation? Like real vacation.
way before One With launched. I mean, it's been years.
I think we need to send you on vacation.
Do you think so?
Yeah. I think you're the
Maybe.
first repeat guest. You have to go on vacation
And come back.
and come back.
Well, do like little trips count? Like little trips to
No.
like, okay. You're talking like go
I
somewhere,
did
turn my
this in
phone off.
March, pretty much.
Okay.
I went to Hawaii
Ugh,
in March
jealous.
and mostly didn't do anything. Maybe 2
Mhm.
hours in a week.
You like Tim Ferrissed it.
Yeah. I understand there are life things that you
Yeah.
have to do, but you really got to turn it off. That would
Okay.
be fun. I would be here for that. If you decide to do that, I would like to schedule you like the day you come back.
Listen, part of getting the VA is so that I feel comfortable doing things like that, because my issue is I will take a day off for work. When I say a day off, I mean, I'm in New York for a conference and to be on a podcast, right? Like I'm still very much working. I'll be away from my computer for a day, and catching up from that day will take me like a week. There is a tremendous inefficiency.
I've just stopped.
Catching up.
Yeah. I mean, I almost forgot that this is an audio thing, right? I'm like shaking my head like, yeah. But no, yeah, I've almost stopped. That's why he says he didn't even send me the run a show for the last episode, because
He
I don't
just
read my
knows
email.
it's not work.
And I said, why don't you text me?
Can I?
The best way to get me to read something,
Yeah.
screenshot it,
And
text.
text it. Are
Best.
you someone who has like 200 unread messages on your
No,
text?
I will after like stopping to record
Yes.
this and I don't know where my phone is.
Same,
Yes, I
same.
will.
Okay.
Combined email and text, I'll have somewhere, I bet it's somewhere near 100, 150.
Yes.
But I just don't. Like,
okay.
if it's really important, like I scan them, right?
Yeah.
But if it's like marginally important, like I've learned people email you back when it's marginally important.
Right.
And it just dies
You're saying
when
to
it's
follow
not.
up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's marginally important, people email you back.
See, I'm trying to be a little more like this. Like a little more like this.
And then that's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to have to just go away.
Yeah.
Like, disappear. And I've seen this in the interviews. I think you were mentioning you watched the Doorman Stories one. It wasn't that one. It was a different one that hasn't been published yet.
Okay.
Where I asked her, I was like, well, what's your personal life like?
Yeah.
Guys, girls, it doesn't matter. It's the same answer.
What is it?
What's your personal life like?
No, but what's
That's the question.
Oh, you're asking me this.
Yeah.
I thought you were.
It's going to be the same
saying,
answer.
I mean, I've got one.
Yeah.
I'm really private about it, but I do have one.
You have one.
Yes.
But what's it like? Not specifics of what's going on.
Yeah.
But what's it like? And like, you spend time doing something personal.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like?
I mean, it's wonderful, but there has to be an understanding of what my responsibility is.
How long until you start thinking about onewith?
I'm always thinking about
That's
it.
right. That's the answer.
I'm always thinking about
There's
it.
no such thing as personal life, right? Like, yeah, you got one.
Yeah.
But you're not giving.
No.
That's, I think, the challenge of people like us.
Yeah. It's really hard. I mean, no, it's a blessing and a curse, right? Since April 2019, when I thought of this idea, it's all I've thought about. It's legitimately all I've thought about. Nothing trumps this in many ways. You know what I mean? Of course, like certain, personal things, but like in terms of my airwaves, nothing really trumps it. Even if I'm worried about something, if I'm ecstatic about something, it's all related to onewith most of the time,
There's no way for it not to be. I'm with you, and I'm realizing, one of the cool things, and we'll start doing like little YouTube, like I've learned this, I've learned that. We're starting to do that, and we'll start doing those. But it's like I'm seeing this over and over.
Yeah.
And essentially, I was a food influencer, right? Like, well, every time I go out to eat, I'm working every time. And I think, I was like, oh yeah. So you can never just go out to eat.
Yeah.
And man, that's interesting.
It's
like, cause do you feel like you're missing something?
No, not now. But when I did was when I was doing YouTube and I felt the need to compulsively pull my phone out to film everything. I felt like I was missing out on
the things that were
life.
happening,
Yeah.
absorbing
life. Yeah.
Okay.
That was it. And I told myself, I stopped creating content, and I told myself, I stopped vlogging on a regular basis before I stopped my YouTube channel.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you stop vlogging because you didn't like it, or was the lower quality, lower value creation that was in your life?
I mean, you're saying, was it lower value creation for me? Yeah. For sure. Well, once I thought of onewith, everything else paled in comparison. But I told myself, again, I stopped my YouTube channel October 2021. I stopped vlogging a while before that. And I told myself, the second I felt an impulse to pick up a camera again and record something, I would. I have never felt it. And that was 3.5 years ago at this point. I just stopped wanting to do it. Again, onewith trumped everything. And then I was also so over it. Very grateful, but very over it.
And I would hypothesize that you also found higher value creating.
Yes.
Internally and
for my
externally.
definition. I don't.
However you get to the definition. You can do it intrinsic, you can do it. But there was more value being created because you didn't stop for 1 second creating.
Right. Yes.
And I think the big misconception when we talk about creatorship or we talk about this podcast is that it's about content creation. It's not really. It's that's become a democratic way of creating.
Yes. And I said that to your producer, Chris, and Chris had an amazing explanation of what your sort of thesis is doing this podcast, because I was like, I'm not going to talk about my YouTube creator days ad nauseum.
You did talk about your
a little, but I didn't want to come on this podcast and only talk about that. I was like, onewith is so much more interesting in terms of creation in regards to
It's
that.
so boring compared to the processes in your mind and where you're going to be in 10 and 20 and 30 years though. What about that?
Your mouth to God's ear.
Boom. Like you're going to get to the point where you don't even like onewith and you sell it.
That's always how it happens, right?
You're going to die.
Yeah.
We're going to pay taxes.
Yep. You grow to resent the thing that you love the most.
You're going to find something that creates more value.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. That's to me the
money.
perpetual. I feel like that's the plight of being a creator or an artist or whatever. That is your plight, is eventually you grow out of things, right? Or you move on to the next iteration of that creation, right?
Yeah. Well, that's really where. So I think it was Nadav Ullman that said it to me, like, hey, this was really like the 5th iteration of a business that we started when we were at UConn. It was like I had this little thing and then a little bit bigger and then a little, and then all of a sudden you realize, like, we need to sell it. We need to get to the next thing because this thing's not big enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I want this and this won't give it to me.
It's transactional.
When you conquer the swimsuit market and people say, oh, not just like a little, like, oh, here's a nice innovator. Here's a nice new product. When they say, this is the person that revolutionized women's swimwear. What more could you want out of life?
I never set out to be a swimwear revolutionary. So I would just move on to the next thing I could be a revolutionary in, you know? Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you think you'll find it?
The same way onewith came to me, which was just divine download, as they say. I always trusted that I would get a great idea. And I knew I wouldn't rush it and I would let it come to me. And that's what happened with onewith.
So since I'm prognosticating the future and telling you your whole life story in the future, here's what I think it is. Someone young shows up and asks for 30 minutes of your time and you don't want to do it, but you give it to them and they're working on the thing that gets you that excited.
Okay.
Because like, here's what you've done by creating onewith, and we can get into the success of it at all, whatever you want. This is wide open, but here's what I think you've done is you've created it, you've put it into the world, and now you'll be a beacon for every young person that wants to do something like that.
There's tremendous responsibility in that, I feel, but it's exciting. It's exciting. And honestly, I get and you probably know this, especially being, you know,
I'm sure I sent them to you. You know what I mean?
Potentially,
like,
yeah. But like sometimes you get people coming to you and you want to give them the time because you want to help them, like from an earnest place, want to help them. But you ultimately know, and I've become really sensitive to it, like who has the grit and the tenacity and who doesn't. And I've gotten really sensitive and really discerning with that because that really ultimately tells me who to give my time to.
It will be someone that you didn't want to do. Because it always is. Because it's always someone that you didn't expect. And I think one of the pieces, openness to yes, openness to sharing. Like I know you already hit all those things, mentorship, like you've had good mentors, you have to give back, like you got to put it back in the world, but you're different than most. And what'll happen is one of those people will trickle in and you just see it. You don't, it's not even the grit or the component. They will already have done enough of the work that it's like immediately apparent.
On a platter. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh yeah.
Okay.
This is the person this is going to be in my far right list, right? This is the person I'm going to want to spend time with.
Yes.
This is the person that maybe they're going to screw it up, but they're going to spend 24 hours trying to get it right.
Yep. I feel like I'm not at the point where people come to me that fully like flushed out yet, if you will. It's more in beginner stages of things, but I will take your word for it that this will happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's the second you sell your company, you'll really start to see that. But the filtering mechanisms get better over time and repetition.
Yeah.
And so you start to see like, oh, if that kid did this,
Yeah.
they'll do what it takes.
Right.
They're just looking for the feedback loop, the
Right.
positive. If I could put them into a positive feedback loop for 6 months, which I know the vendor to call. I know the
Yes.
designer to
Mhm.
call. I know the market. Like, think of all the shit time you wasted trying to find the right things.
Mhm. I know. And I like being able to be the person to kind of, like you said, sort of filter some of that stuff out and equip people with what I've learned. Yeah, no, it's something that
What
I'm in a position to do.
What's your favorite moment with onewith?
Going viral, like for what I'll call like the second or third time around, it was in January of 2023. That was like my I made it sort of moment, or onewith made it sort of moment. It was really, really big. And that was really validating because ultimately what went viral was a video talking about our product market fit, basically. So it was like very validating from that perspective. And it was kind of as kicking up of the nervous system as going viral is, it also validated what I had been working for. And this was also fresh off of me needing to beg, borrow, and steal to get a $15,000 loan.
Yeah. Those are amazing, right?
Months. It was like literally the worst. It was such a bad period of my life for so many reasons. But basically we got the loan, we paid for the inventory that I had begged, borrowed, and practically, I don't want to say, stolen for the past 6 to 9
got
months.
Stolen. Maybe we kind of stole a little bit here and there, but
it was more stealing from myself on
It was
credit
like
cards and maxing out my
yeah.
credit cards. But yeah, so basically after going through this very arduous, very difficult period of having zero money, being flat broke, getting a $15,000 loan to pay for inventory, and having to convince everyone that I was worth the gamble, and then getting that, like, I'm not kidding, like 3 days after that loan hit my account, us getting the inventory, going viral again immediately after that, selling out again. That was, I told you so. I made it. Don't want to get too cocky, obviously, with it, but that moment encapsulated everything that I felt like I was working for.
Did you call anyone up and be like, fuck you?
No, you just dead them. You just don't let them.
Yeah. I would
They try to come crawling back and saying like, hey, just checking in.
I have to dunk on the haters. Like, it's compulsive, right?
Sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah, you got to, just for fun. Here's I've talked to you enough. I know a lot of your story. I think this is obviously hard as a man to ask this question. Not obvious to you because you're not in my head, but to me, it's hard to ask this question. But your marketing is very intentionally different than swimsuit marketing.
Yeah.
That was a good way. That was an eloquent way of saying it.
Very eloquent, yes.
And didn't get myself in trouble there.
Yes.
But it's not 6 foot tall, 110 pound supermodels from Victoria's Secret. It's the whole range of women.
Yes.
Is the way I would explain that.
Yes.
Why did you go that route? Because like body positivity is super cool right now. Like
I don't even consider us a
stuff.
body positive brand. I consider us body neutral. We posted a video about that today.
See, there you go.
But yes, I understand what you're saying. From the jump, inclusivity and
what does
representation.
inclusivity mean to you and
What
to
I've-
one with the brand?
Yeah, what I've always said is like looking at models and being like, oh, she kind of looks like me, or that's someone that like could be my friend, or a ability to relate, if that makes sense, and us giving enough representation in our imagery to create enough possibilities for that to happen.
Enough representation in the imagery. That's actually a really it's a really nice, effective way to talk about a topic that has become super difficult to talk about, and not from the body perspective, but inclusion generally.
Yeah. And let me just say too, there's always more that we can do. You can always be like more inclusive and more representative of, certain things. But again, just having enough, like I said, like creating enough opportunity to look at our brand.
I'll push back on that.
Okay.
Don't you define what the brand is and then build the inclusivity? Like there's inclusivity around onewith that doesn't work. Like you're excluding certain people because it's not brand specific.
Explain more.
Well, it could be price points, right? It could be this,
Yep.
It could be that. I'm just saying, like, I think the world is misunderstanding what inclusive means.
Yes.
And I
I
think
get what
they
you're
brought
saying.
in this concept of equity that really F's everybody up.
I get what you're saying.
Inclusion. So I think about it like this, like, you have this idea of accessibility. You create imagery that's representative in a way that you can feel like, oh, I could be a part of that.
Exactly.
And
yes.
then,
that's a great way of wording.
But you're targeting that. You are excluding certain people. You're just not trying to do it because this or that. You're making conscious decisions who you exclude.
In terms of?
Okay, you're not selling shine level quality. And so you're saying people that buy $5 swimsuits,
Shein, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
whatever.
Yes.
I don't say the words right. But people that buy $5 swimsuits are not going to buy at onewith.
Absolutely.
And at the price point, like people that buy $400 to $500 swimsuits might buy at onewith.
Yes.
But they're not buying it because of the price point and being seen this.
Totally.
They're buying it because they love the product.
Yes.
And you're making conscious decisions around the brand about what to include and what to exclude.
Yes.
And I think it's great marketing because you're excluding such a big part of you're including such a big part of the female audience that fit your price points, brand value, brand definition, all those things that onewith values.
Yes, completely. No, I wanted to understand fully what you're saying there, but yes, no, I mean, I've said this to someone the other day. I woke up the other day, I don't like checking my phone right away, but let's just say I checked my phone an hour after I woke up. And, I had all these comments. Sometimes we switch ad groups or something targeting on Meta. And I can tell because we get trends of new comments coming in. And this particular one, last week it was, we don't have enough crotch coverage. This week it was price point. So, yeah. I mean, but again, I can't please everyone.
No, nor should you try to.
Right.
Other people should try to please the people and include people that you're not. That's an opportunity
totally.
for them.
Uh-huh.
You're not the only swimsuit brand in the world. You can dominate the swimsuit market without being the only choice.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think when we talk about inclusion, oftentimes we forget that we actually you exclude by creating a brand definition, by creating.
I will not push back against that. That totally makes sense in the way that, I mean, again, we've got a certain price point, And
let me pull it full circle. You include differently than other swimsuit brands. Okay. That's why I think what this is really interesting because you've defined out onewith differently.
Yeah.
And you include different people that are like that's kind of really interesting.
Yeah. I remember it was probably maybe like the first time we ever went viral and we got this DM from a photographer and they said something along the lines of, you're really not tapping into a fully elevated look here, right? I can deliver you that fully elevated look with my content and my models. And I was just like, that's really interesting because that's not what I want. Can't you see that? That's not, if I wanted to go and do a, Sports Illustrated style, ultra sexy, ultra yesteryear style of
Victoria's Secret, blah, 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 where they walk down the thing with a rock star.
Yeah. And I'm not saying this to like, shit on Sports Illustrated because I love that whole vibe, if you will, but that's not what I'm looking to accomplish here. I love that. I'm an appreciator of that, but that's not my brand. And I don't vie for it to be at all.
And I think you really found a home.
Yeah.
Like people love that
Yeah.
about the brand.
Yeah. And that makes me really happy. I think that feeling of accessibility, like you said, hey, I look at this content, I feel like I could be in this content, And I mean, so much of the stuff that we post, like are organic fans of the brand who have posted a review or something. And it's like, we repost it because that is our brand. It's just, again, like a relatability.
That inclusion was intentional.
Mm-hmm.
That insight, again, I think that photographer hit it dead on. I guarantee the other executives watched what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not going to work.
Right.
Because you have to put this supermodel in this swimsuit.
Yeah, or just have a certain style with like the palm fronds, like shading the face of the model and like, you know what I mean? Like oiled up abs and like stuff like that. And like, listen, again, do I like love looking at that stuff and consuming that stuff? 100%. But again, that's not One With.
Don't you think so much of the women's market is missed through that marketing bias?
Yes.
Like how many different products could you take the intentionality of what I will call your marketing genius? I'm sucking up a little bit, but it's really a marketing genius play. You went to TikTok before others were on TikTok selling stuff. Now it's like a shitty
we were
shop,
early
right?
adopters of TikTok shop,
there.
I will say.
You blew it out, right? Like, I mean, and a lot of brands weren't going there. And a lot of agencies were telling people don't go there. Right. You took a different approach. You defined out an audience, a market, and you built stuff for them so that they could buy your product.
Yeah.
It's not genius. It's like basic marketing
and that's
101.
The thing. I feel like it's very basic. Yeah.
But most people won't do it because they can't move off of the way things have always been done. How many products could you market to women with that mentality today?
Yeah. A level of relatability.
You could blow it open.
I agree. And everyone has a niche. And honestly, being super polished and being almost hearkening back to, again, like what I'll call like the golden era of VS or, Sports Illustrated, like again, hearkening back to that look, like is their niche, and that's cool. But I do think, again, that relatability, that user generated element to our brand. I don't seek for everything to be polished. Our most viral videos are of a swimsuit on my kitchen countertop. Period. End of story. Not like, insane lighting in Bali. You know what I mean? And like slow motion and trending audio. It is a video of me talking about my swimsuits on my countertop. I always joke that the ROI of the countertops in my condo goes stupid. It's crazy. But I mean, I genuinely...
I got great faux granite.
Yeah, no, for real. And boy, was it faux.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I definitely feel like keeping it simple.
What's the call you're waiting for now to feel like that will give you that feeling you had when you're like, oh, this really works? What's the phone call that you're waiting for? The email that shows up and you're like, oh my God, the direct message, the text message. What's the thing?
I mean, a solid acquisition offer.
Yeah. You're going to say no to the first one, right? No matter
Whatever
no
the
matter
universe
what.
leads me to.
No matter what they say no first.
Okay. I'll remember that. But yeah, I would think at this point, and listen, we've gotten interest.
Who would it come from? Who would be the best call to ever receive? I'm sure you get interest. You've cracked a market, so it's like you're probably not getting the high quality shit that you want, but
exactly.
But I mean, what would be like? Oh man, like 16-year-old Hayley's losing her mind right now.
I mean, like Sarah Blakely Skims call, maybe. And this is putting them on warning that they better not take
Steal
my
your stuff
concept.
again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is Kim
Not again.
Kardashian famous?
I love the Kardashians. If you're looking for someone to bash them, it ain't gonna be
It doesn't
me.
matter. Why is she famous?
Because she's unrelatably gorgeous.
Why is she
And
famous?
Has the X factor. She's got the X factor.
Okay, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Trump or Biden?
Oh my God, stop.
Come on.
Decline.
No?
Decline.
No.
I can't.
We've decided that means whenever anyone says that it's Trump.
It's not.
That's like
It's
so
not.
like yeah. All right.
It's not, but decline.
All right. It's tough.
Kim K for president.
There you go. That's an answer
2024.
too.
Yeah.
She's not going to be president.
Kanye could have been. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. That's
All
a
right.
joke.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Skims calls and you don't like the creative direction, but all the money's there. Yes or no?
No, because if it would muddy my work
You know, people buy things just to take it off
to
the market.
take, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like
Peter
like
Worth-
hush money kind
Yeah,
of.
Peter Worth tells the story of someone buying his drug and taking it off the market
Yeah.
because it would have threatened whatever the opiate caused,
Yeah.
whatever caused the opiate thing.
Yeah.
He had a painkiller that someone bought and took off the market
Interesting.
because they were selling that drug.
Yeah.
And he's like, I should have never, ever. One of his big regrets was selling the drug.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's kind of like, I don't know. And I'm so big on my gut. Like if my gut told me that that was the best decision for onewith or the best decision to propel whatever I was going to put into the world next to solve a problem or whatever, I would take it as it comes. But I love onewith so much. It really is like my baby. So it's hard to even put my brain there, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh man. I think I want to go out and like bank. I want to bank your company now and see what messed up offers I could bring back.
Oh, I could repeat some insane offers I've gotten that
But
are
like
just
ones that are
offensive.
actually a challenge. I want like not offensive ones. I want one like, this is perfect. This is perfect. That's awful. Now make your decisions. Like as
a test to me.
Yeah. Entirely as
Am
like
I
a
gonna
test.
get like fake proxy emails, like secretly
No,
from you?
real emails. It would be no. I would bank it. I would go out and find the acquisition
You'll be
funds.
onewith's investment banker.
Yeah. I think that would be a fun concept. No, but I mean, I
am interested to obviously see.
yeah,
have
but
goals.
like here's the problem, and everybody knows it right now. You want to see because you want to know where you're at.
In terms of like if I were to shop my company out.
Yeah, you want to see, and they're not going to give it to you right now because they
We're
don't
too
want you to
early.
know. They just don't want you to know. Yes and no. I think because you have, yes, you're too early on the revenue side,
Mhm.
but I don't think you're too early in the evolution of everything else. And I think someone could make a really smart decision to say, we're going to buy this, but we're going to keep it separate and we're
Mhm.
going to give you a pile of money
Mhm.
and let you run this for 5 years.
Mhm.
And then at any point we want, we're going to yank you out. I could see that conversation happening with a really smart executive.
I was gonna say I'm open to it with the right people.
There you go. We'll broker the deal right here. But no, I mean, I think that's the hard part is you don't get to know who the right people are until post hoc.
Yeah, no, I know. And again, it's hard because I'm so in it right now and I love it so much. It's hard to even, like I said, conceptualize this, but obviously I have an end goal and it is acquisition.
Why do you guys love her?
I don't know. I'm sitting here trying to figure that out, but this is one of my favorite episodes. And
It's
I'm not
been
saying
good,
that
but
'cause
we've
you're
done
here.
it. We've done it this is probably the third or fourth time we've done it, to be honest, that in some way or form. But why do you guys everybody loves?
Because she was there for me when I needed her is probably the best answer for that.
That's a nice answer.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, you got me
Happy to
really
hear that.
teary. He
It's
does.
just sweat.
I can't tell the difference.
It's hot in
It tastes
here.
just like, For those of you, it's like 900 degrees. This will probably air in December and people will be like, why are they sweating? I think that's a entry. You've gone a different path
Mhm.
And when I point to kids and say, hey, you don't have to do this or you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
We always get to, oh, you should look at what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There were points where will you be successful is a question,
Mm-hmm.
but never was it not interesting.
Okay.
And I think,
Are you saying for me specifically?
yeah, you specifically.
Yeah. I was going to ask you.
Ask away. Let's turn it around. You can be the host.
Well, I was just going to ask it, and this dawned on me before. When you met me for the first time, did you make of me as someone that was going to make something of my company or myself?
So I don't care about women's swimsuits.
Right.
So that's probably the first
That aside,
thing.
though.
No. I mean, I got to talk through like my mind.
Okay.
I got
I'll
to
let
talk
you-
through this.
I'll let you cook.
Yeah. It's hard to do that, by the way, right? Like it is hard to be the host. You present simply and you're more complex. And I don't think people spend enough time thinking or listening to understand all the things that are going on. So I don't believe that I would have made the assumptions that not assumptions. I don't believe I would have made the assumptions that are fact today.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to jump in. I strongly second that. And if you're a person that pays attention, it only takes but maybe deep into the first conversation, depending on how long the first conversation is, or maybe by the second conversation to get the complexity portion of it.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, the second you start paying attention, there is you, but so as someone that quantifies talent all day long,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, the answer is no. The honest answer is no,
I respect that.
but not in the way that's a negative.
Okay.
Not like, oh, this person isn't going to be successful.
Yeah.
No. Not, you're immediately like, oh, this person's going to go do whatever she thinks she's going to go do.
Yep.
And so I think like you would be entirely hireable off the gate because you'd be like, oh, this person's driven. That's not a question.
Mm-hmm.
I think walking around with a concept of I'm going to make this swimsuit company as a 23, 24-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you discount that to near zero. Cause like you didn't have that technology. You didn't have any of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can't believe it.
Yeah.
I think that would be I can't go back and think about that question as that, but that's
about
piecing together what I remember and how I know I think, yeah, that would be it. You always believe someone that puts something in front of you and says, this is what I want to do. And you can touch it first.
Right.
Like that always.
But it was intangible.
That,
so
And like you were still at that stage of, hey, I'm doing this. I've been making money. Like there was immediate respect for what you're doing. And I think all those other people too. And you were a little bit older than them. Because you were making a living.
Right.
In a way that none of them were.
Right.
And none of them planned or thought was possible or had the, most of them were men at that time. Like we've done a lot of work to change that. But I mean, I think most of them just didn't, most people wouldn't have the balls to go do that.
Thanks.
And so you already had that personal credibility built in. You weren't a student.
Right.
You had already left.
Right.
Taken a different route.
Yeah.
Survived. So there was a great example as a kid, and it didn't pan out. But there was a kid that did an IQ pitch.
Okay.
And in one of his slides, he was covered in shit. And I was like, I'll bet on that kid every day. Cause he dug up like his father was in the poop business, whatever those things that you bury in the ground when you don't have sewage.
Yeah.
He was in that business. And I was like, that kid, I'll bet on.
Yeah.
You lose. Like, okay, but he's covered in poop.
No, totally. No. And I respect the honesty in that answer. That's about what I deduce. I think that's a common sentiment about me.
You're a cartoon character.
Yeah. Well, that's precisely the connotation that I am fighting whenever I walk into a room.
We always say this, Coleman Levy's like 85 years old and awesome dude. I go have breakfast with him. He's very mean. dude, best time ever. Like, no way John Elliott's listening to this stuff. He says, dude, John Elliott walks up and he's like, you told me you were coming to have breakfast with me 3 years ago. You're still not done it. I was like, you're my hero. You're mean. We were talking about how people think Peter Worth is stupid a lot of times.
I don't
Like
know.
they treat him, and he said, yeah, he's dumb like a fox.
Huh?
It's a way that people say, yeah, that person has this image
Mhm.
and they're really smart.
Yeah, yeah.
There's an image of protection that's out there.
Mhm.
And I think you would fall into that category. Like you
Yeah.
people are going to look at you and make a whole bunch of assumptions
Yes.
that are not true.
Yeah, and it's the thing I think I fight the most in life.
Why do you fight it? Why
Well, I
don't you
don't
just
fight
change?
it. I
Why
come
don't
up
you just
against
change?
it.
Yeah.
I come up against it, and it's honestly it's because of the
But
way
it's
I
a
look.
superpower, right?
As I'm looking at myself in the mirror or the camera.
Do you like the way you look, or does it bother
and
you?
I won't change it.
Huh.
And I won't change it. And again,
Most
it's,
women don't like the way they look,
No,
regardless
I
of
love
where
the
they
way.
fall in your inclusivity metric, right? And I think,
love
but right,
I don't
like
know how
that's.
to say that without. I'm just going to be
No, no, no.
unabashed. No, I don't want to change it.
I didn't say, are you good looking? I
Yeah.
didn't say, are you this?
Yeah,
I
facts.
said, do you
Facts.
like how you look?
Yes,
Because you do it intentionally.
I do. I mean, the hair has been intentionally bleached every 4 weeks for the last 12 years of my life. You know, I get up every morning and I dress a certain way and I do my makeup a certain way. And I know damn well, especially if I'm in a business setting, that it is going to be perceived a certain way. And a lot of times people discount me the second I walk into a room and don't listen to me. And that is so evident when I hear their questions to me after.
But isn't that good? This is my thing. This is good.
It
You
works
have
for me
now
and it works against me.
It works against you, but you have separated your tribe within 3.4 seconds.
Yes. Completely. You are that is very correct.
If nobody is going to sit there and try to actually understand Hayley,
Mhm.
they're going to be wrong every time.
Yes.
And that's okay. And you can know it
Mhm.
right away.
Yes. This is like therapy. I really like
That's
it.
what
Thank
like,
you.
I think girls, like, you guys don't talk. You don't talk about like things that actually matter. That's part of the problem.
No,
Like,
this
no,
is
but
great.
I mean, like,
we're
like,
cutting to it.
Do you not think about this? Like, is it not intentional? People, you know my reputation. You know how people perceive me. You know how people think about me and talk about me. And 98% of the time, it's totally wrong. And a lot of times, they haven't even met me
Yeah.
or talked to me.
Yeah, that's always been something I've dealt with for
Right.
sure.
But
yeah.
isn't that empowering?
It is, and it can be obviously very isolating.
Does it hurt your feelings?
Does it hurt my feelings?
Hurts my feelings sometimes.
It's a bummer, man. Sometimes it's just a bummer when, again, like I said, and I'm thinking of like a specific incident. And I'll tell you off air because it's someone we both know, but like they revealed themselves so hardcore to me in just the questions they asked me. Just the questions they asked.
It hurts my feelings when they never talk to me. That's the only time
they don't want to get to know you.
that they have made this whole set of decisions.
Yeah.
Based upon, I have no idea because I don't even know that fucking person.
Yeah.
Like I've never met you. I've never been in the conversation with
Yeah.
you. And you're telling this person this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
Very
you saw
real.
the D'Amelio episode.
Yes.
And like,
I caught the first like
yeah,
20 of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And did you watch Who is David Noble?
No.
You should watch it. It's
I
pretty
didn't. And it's funny because I think that's like the shortest one and I
good.
didn't watch that one.
No, it was from D'Amelio. It was when he
Okay.
asked the question. And,
Okay.
and like, he said, well, why are you so passionate? And I gave him a reason. And,
And what was the reason? Do
I
you want to give me spark
I hate
notes?
Boston College. I hate those people.
That was
Those
in there.
people? Okay.
Those people.
Okay.
And they're the people that can't wait to send their kid to some school other than
Did you go to
UConn.
BC?
That's a whole. I actually hate them, but ending up at UConn is so perfect because I hate them.
Okay.
And UConn is the antithesis of
Of
Boston
BC.
College.
Okay.
And on top of that, the people that can't wait to send their kids to Chicago and Michigan and Stanford and BC and Columbia. They went to UConn.
That's it. That's a sentence.
Period.
That's it. Like, do you know what I mean? They're not real. You're not real. You went to UConn. You are different than all of those.
Kids. Okay.
You're sending your kids off.
Does it make you happy that my mom went to UConn and I also went to UConn?
That's great. But there's a realness, regardless, about you that would transcend wherever you went to school. But that's so fake. And I think that really bothers me at the core of what it is. And it's the same people. Do you know what I mean? Like they're the same people. And like, so you lean into the cartoon character.
Yeah. Yeah. And I talked about this literally, I'm not kidding, 2 days ago. I was like, when I know that that's already been decided for me, there's a part of me that just wants to talk like this and just be like, what are you talking about? And like lean into that perspective that I know people are already thinking. So it's like, why not just full send it? That cartoon character.
Why give them, I did a,
and I'm not saying that I believe in that. I'm just saying sometimes my brain just does that. We'll just, again, lean into whatever's being assumed.
I applied for a job and wasn't chosen. And like the questions that were asked in the interview were demeaning, disrespectful, and everybody that sat around and did it, I now
spite.
They will never get into the left-hand side of the column.
Rightfully so.
Never.
Rightfully so.
Because they walk around thinking that they know what's best. And they can't even stop to think. Yeah. I lean into the cartoon character. Like you don't remember this because you weren't really a student dealing with us, but I always joke there's the Taylor Swift eras. I have the era where I was the professor with the black pug. Like I had Bob with me everywhere. He would sit there and that was who I was. Yeah. And like, I didn't care. I think they actually put in the compliance training that you can't bring your dog to work because I used to bring them to like every day. That's really And I was cute. Like, yeah, I don't care. Like fire me. Yeah. But in reality, what I was doing is just leaning into the cartoon character. Yeah. It created a separation that also allows me to operate differently than everybody else.
Totally. I know exactly what you mean. And I've heard one of my favorite YouTubers ever, Trisha Paytas. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Okay. She has talked about creating this sort of cartoon character for herself, this online version of herself that is separate from who she really is. And I don't want to put words in her mouth, but kind of as a defense mechanism so that like when people are, offended by that person, like it's not really her. You know what I mean? But it also gives her the ability to like lean into something totally outside of herself. And I think there's total merit to that.
I, like you, really lean in when it makes other people feel awkward.
Yes. Yeah, if I already know someone thinks I'm like the dumbest of the dumb and just vapid and an idiot, I'm just going to full send it at that point. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just going to, and the thing is too, is there's this element too of, and I don't want to say that's true in every case, but in a lot of cases it is. And sometimes it's subconscious, but again, there's that element that I'm fighting all the time. And I forget where I was going with this, but it was going to be good. I forget what I was going to say.
Happens to the best of us. Last time I wanted to ask a question, but I got afraid. And so I had to ask a hot dog related question. Like, I don't think that girl ever ate a hot dog.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Was that the question?
Oh, no, that would have been a good question. Is it?
No.
No. Do you eat those terrible Connecticut lobster rolls? Disgusting.
Oh boy.
Disgusting.
Wait, as opposed to
real lobster rolls that you might find in such actual states as with oceans such as Rhode Island and Maine.
Wait, do you eat it hot or do you eat it cold?
Cold. There's no eating it hot. That's for people from places that don't have oceans.
Where are you from?
I'm from Rhode Island. Yeah, Connecticut. I lived in Stanford for
Where in Rhode Island are you from?
Woonsocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like the not nice part. Right? Like, yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's not nice.
I always got New England vibes off of you, but I didn't know where.
Oh, yeah. I'm all New England.
Me too.
Yeah. All New England. especially hate BC. Right, like
Should we get a counter, Chris,
Yeah,
of like how
yeah.
many times he mentions BC?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
feel like that could be a good.
Nah.
Not enough digits.
no,
Not
We're
enough
sending-
digits.
They anyway, I mean, I think a hot dog is not a sandwich. It's a hot dog. It's its own class
It's
of
its
food.
own. It's in the same category as a corn dog.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Do you still consume social media?
much less so.
Have you noticed that hot dogs are having a thing this summer?
I'm a hot dog truther. I love a hot dog.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to hear that.
But have you noticed that?
No.
No. Okay. So maybe it's just me, Chris. I don't know. They're wondering. I think hot dogs are having a thing like Barstool Sports, the girls, chicks thing is selling t-shirts.
Okay.
There's girls that you never see influencing eating hot dogs.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do the hot doggery tour.
Where is that?
Oh yeah. We don't know.
You know actually where has the best hot dog?
Where? I can stop there.
In Providence.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking? Onlyville? Is that what it's called? Onlyville?
Do I know Onlyville?
Okay,
Those are
okay.
New York system wieners.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So Onlyville will be a stop. I took Josh Cantor and Tara there with a reporter who works at UConn. He wrote the Buddy Cianci biography,
Okay.
and his name's Mike Stanton. It's
Okay.
great. And like
Love it.
we went there for Onlyville because those guys never been to Onlyville.
So good.
It's they don't do it
Yes,
anymore,
they-
but
no,
the
that's
stack
when
with
I
the
went
hairy
with
arm.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. They would put the hot dog on their arm
Oh yeah.
and
And,
fill
like,
it with the toppings.
These are big guys that like you can look it up, man.
now that
Onlyville-
I'm a germaphobe, I
York
feel like
system
I
where- Oh, it's
couldn't handle
something.
it.
Yeah, but it's good. And like when I was a kid, they used to smoke cigarettes while they did it.
hell yeah.
And that you get a little cigarette ash in your hot dog.
I grew up going
That's
to
how it
Mohegan
works.
Sun. Like I always say, the smell of cigarettes is comforting to me.
Oh, have you ever seen the chairman of Mohegan?
I don't think I have actually.
Google that. I think Mohegan's a great casino. I like Foxwoods too. Foxwoods was the first one.
Foxwoods or Mohegan?
Yeah.
Choose one.
Oh, I play at Foxwoods because I've never won at Mohegan.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd rather be at Mohegan.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I'm going to gamble, which I haven't done lately, I would do that.
Okay. Got
Ever
it.
since I got involved in UConn athletics,
Yeah.
I just haven't gambled at all. Because I was signing up and we had just gotten the app in Connecticut. And I was like
Can
signing
you
up.
not as a UConn employee?
So no, you can
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
But I'm signing up for it. And it's like, if you are not allowed to do this by
Yeah.
law or employment, blah, blah, blah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, text the AD. I'm like, am I allowed to do
Yeah,
this?
that's a good question.
And he's
right?
like, I would say for what you're doing now,
Yeah.
no.
Right.
And so I just taken that as the rule.
Okay.
And like, if I go to Vegas, I'll play on a table or something,
Yeah.
but I will not bet on sports. I will not bet. I'll go to like Saratoga and
Okay.
bet, but I won't bet at the, I just keep it to very experiential
Yep.
type things.
Yeah.
And so like theoretically I could end up at Foxwoods, but it just hasn't happened. They don't
Yeah.
take dogs.
Mohegan does. Would you
Mm,
want to bring them around all the smoke though?
I just put them in the room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
I can't. But yeah, no. So that's the story of that. Foxwoods or Mohegan. I'd rather hang out at Mohegan.
Mohegan. Yeah. I'm the same way.
I'd rather gamble at Foxwoods.
Yeah. Word.
And
That's
like
totally
whoever
valid.
has better. So Mohegan has the women's basketball, so I like that.
Yes. Connecticut Sun.
Yeah.
We were season ticket holders when I was a kid.
Yeah, one of my students is on that team.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I was a big Connecticut Sun girl.
I'm big in the WNBA.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I have
I-
a scar, like a big scar on my leg, or it was really big when I was little. I was cheering so hard at a Connecticut Sun game, and my mom goes, I was standing on the seat, and my mom was like, get down from there. So I jumped, and the seat, it's like the retractable seats.
Yeah.
It closed in on me, and I went, the chair in front of me went through my leg. So I literally have a Mohegan Sun scar
That's
on
nice.
my body to this day.
I got one.
And I hope everyone enjoyed that
I
story.
got one from college.
It's on the same leg, like literally the same
See
spot.
that?
I love that.
Right there. I jumped. Ocean City, New Jersey is a dry town.
Really?
Yeah. And we were not dry. And I jumped off the boat onto the dock and slipped. And my friend's father, He said, you need 2 shots and a bag of frozen peas.
And you'll be good.
And
Yeah.
that's how I treated it. So the second I get sun, that scar lights right up. It never bled. It never. I got
so
one.
funny. Yeah, that's like very similar to my story too. I love that. Love that for us.
Yeah, we got leg scars and we overwork.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So with that, like, thank you again. Thank you again. This one actually is published for the world and not just random classes. But
when will it be up?
So we are now getting close to like representation that I could be proud of.
Okay. In terms of distributed media, in terms of being a part of a network.
The people that are on my show are getting closer.
Okay.
I think, if Atu would do his job, we'd be in better shape.
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
He vanished. He's been gone for like 45 minutes.
I saw him leave, but I just thought he would come back.
But I think if he would do his job, he would hit all my KPIs, but he hasn't yet. We have gotten very good gender representation on the show now. So
that's good. But I'm not quite the ideal guest. You can be honest.
No, you're a good guest. We just don't have to pull it forward, I think. So we have like 14 or 15 of these, and we have 5 or 6 that are.
I was going to say there are only 5 or 6 up. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I have to stack them.
Yeah.
Because when I travel, I'm just gone. But I've decided I like this more than work. So
it is work, though.
Yeah, but I like this more than the other work.
There you are falling into that trap.
I'm creating more value.
Yes. Yeah, very much
for someone.
Yeah.
Like at least 13 people are going to watch this. You'll be amazed.
First of all, you need to let them sit and collect views. And trust me, when you hit it big, all of your old episodes will also amass views.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that. I want 17 people.
Before you 17 people for what?
No, someone this morning texted me and they were like, hey, blah, 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 blah from the show, when it first started. And I was like, oh, that's the first person that's probably watched it live. Because Chris does them on premieres, 8 a.m. they start.
Okay.
So someone has now decided that I've replaced CNBC from the 8 to 9
and
hour
your content
in their world.
Yeah. Cool.
So but I mean, again, low bar. CNBC has really lost all of its luster. They used to just report the numbers.
Yeah.
Now it's gotten kind of political.
CNBC is
financial news.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They used to report the numbers. Here's the employment. Yeah. Here's this. Now they're fighting over.
Though? Now it's just way more colorful from both sides, all sides.
Yeah, because
it used to be just more factual.
But stocks is pretty
yeah. There should be no
business,
color there. Yeah.
Business is good.
Yeah.
Business is bad.
You should be able to go there as refuge
from that
opinion.
Yeah. That's exactly
I totally agree with that.
But they've moved it into the morning show.
Okay.
And you may not be surprised, but someone might be I will email the people on the show. I get their email. I will email them and I'll be like,
are you a hater?
No. I'll be like, hey, what you just said is not actually right. Blah, blah, blah. And they'll
so
email
you are
back.
A hater or you're a truther.
No, I'm a truther. Yeah. I'm like, ooh, that was a wide brush. You stroked that one.
That's always scary. You know what I watch for comfort sometimes? Just old Walter Cronkite clips.
So here's my thing. People that get really worried about this stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm not really worried, just a heads up. Okay.
But the media was so perverted. Politics was so dirty in 1860 to 1920 that the things we're worried about today are very minute.
Yeah.
Compared to then. I don't know. Have you ever heard of this Colorado governor's thing where it was just totally fake? This election.
This is in recent era?
No, this was in 1902.
Okay.
And they just rioted and then they this is the governor.
Do you know who Ryan Holiday is?
Oh.
What's it called? Daily Stoic.
Okay. I'm not a Yes. And I took Bert Kreischer. Bert Kreischer and I fall into the same category
in what
on
way?
Our opinion of Ryan Holiday.
Which is?
We're not very stoic.
Okay. I mean, I'm not either, but he's a great thought leader. But he was saying, if you actually pay attention to history over the course of history. What's going on right now shouldn't be of shock to you, or it shouldn't be of, I don't want to say of concern, but like history do be repeating itself and stranger things have happened.
Unless you're Jewish. And then you probably need to be like, hey, this is kind of scary.
Yeah.
And I think, you know.
But history repeating itself.
Or if you were like from Okinawa, like it's scary. That's a scary piece, right? Like Putin is like tripping on steroid, amphetamine cocktails to stay alive.
Is that confirmed?
Walter Cronkite said it, so I think
Walter Cronkite said it. He came back from the dead and said it.
He is. He's moved into a place of, I would say, some disease-driven mental illness, and he controls an unlimited supply of nuclear missiles.
Yeah.
And the guy in China is going to approach the level of Adolf Hitler in the slaughter of his Muslim citizens, and he's in control of enough nuclear missiles. And then we got our two guys. And like
our two guys.
Yeah, our two guys. Like we got one or the other. And like, who knows? We may like, you know, but I mean, like, that's scary. Like, so I agree with him. It's never been a safer place to live in the world.
Yep.
It's never been better or more prosperous.
Correct.
It's never been better to be a woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been better to be Black.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Hispanic and Asian, but I think it's overall it's pretty good in the world. But the potential for utter and total destruction within 60 seconds of bad decision making
is there
right now, where it wasn't in 1992.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. And that's the type of stuff where obviously, you know, modern
we think
times.
About work. That's where we go. when that creeps in, we go to work.
just that existential crisis thought.
Like, oh.
Could happen. Time to check
it's gonna
the email.
Be bad for us.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, like, but work as an escape is also a real thing.
Yeah, no, I don't say that lightly. I think work provides meaning, but I mean, I do. I do think that it's the but that's scary. And I think as we go through this process and we look at it as people, and I'm going to say this because you're here and we're friends, and people are really concerned about women's swimwear.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh man. That's what people are.
Yeah, but I also always say when there's whatever, you know, customers are like, it is never that deep. We have so much more to worry about.
Right.
Like if anyone is getting, other than me in the world, is getting that fired up over swimsuits that fit like underwear, like there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like it should just be.
You should have you should have a whole tribe of people that are, because they've been looking for that. It's not it's the feeling.
Yeah. I'm saying in terms of like, you know, whenever there's like a customer or something that, you know, just is so, you know, irate about something. It's just like, again, at the end of the day, we sell women's swimsuits.
Yeah. We'll ship another one.
Yeah. And it's also just like, I just think we need to keep that into perspective. We sell swimsuits.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. And I love it, but it's swimsuits.
Yeah. So the answer to the question is, I don't know when it's going to publish, but let's say anywhere in the next 6 to 9 weeks.
Okay. Fair enough. In 2024?
Yeah.
Reasons
to
say?
100%. End of summer.
Okay.
Maybe like, let's do, all right, how about this? We'll give you a preferential thing. Let's do like,
no pressure.
3, how long does it take if I go on your website and click to get a
stress test?
3 days.
All right. So
if you're ordering from New York.
Let's do 3 weeks before Labor Day. We'll do the special women's swimsuit issue of the David Nobles show.
There we go.
37 people listening. 29 of them dudes.
There were 40 this morning since the one this morning, man. 40 views.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like I'm blowing it. I'm really good at this. I'm terrible.
This was awesome.
It's fun.
You're very riveting.
I think the idea is to get people to the point that you just said is like, this is just women's swimsuits, but I love it.
Correct.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And like that, we get people will come to that message.
Totally.
It's the same thing. I don't have to talk down to people. I don't have to talk about like all the little boxes on the stupid fucking business model canvas.
Yeah.
The
business model canvas.
I'm like, I want to blow my brains out when we talk. And I'm like, you know what? These are all, so here's where it comes from. These are all people.
Yeah.
And the intangible things are going to make them successful, and they're going to figure all that shit out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Things like business model canvas, words I have not said in such a long time. Like that stuff always drove me a little batty because I was like, how do I conceptualize on paper everything that's in my head at this stage? But you
figure it out. Let me know. Always a pleasure. Thank
Likewise.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for always giving. And maybe we'll sell some swimsuits.
Yeah. onewithswim.com @onewithswim.
@onewithswim.
Yeah.
Instagram,
TikTok, Pinterest.
Pinterest. That's right. You got a Pinterest. I love the concept of Pinterest.
Pinterest might be good for you guys for clips and stuff.
Yeah, I have no idea what to do. I can't go there because my mom's there, and she said, "You have to see the one." This is a conversation that happens in my house on the regular, and I just told my family about this podcast.
Yeah,
today, and
they didn't know about it before.
I played one for my mom in the car, but I don't think she realized it was me. So I get these.
So
I get these like the one I got yesterday was from my mother to me and my sister.
Okay.
There's no love like the love that a mother has for her children.
This is a Pinterest graphic you received?
It's a Pinterest graphic with those words and a baby foot.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah,
and
the
then,
baby foot.
And then it says truth. That's what my mother said. And so, all right. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I feel like
I love you too.
Chris, the cover photo, like the thumbnail for this episode on YouTube has to be that graphic.
Yeah.
With Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, superimposed into it in some way.
So then I get one. That was in the morning. I get one later in the afternoon.
I'm scared.
Some days it's snowing. Something like that. And I look at Holly and I'm like, is my mom trying to buy cocaine from me?
Like, under the radar code words.
I don't know what this means.
Only.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what this one means.
Sometimes it's snowing.
So does your mom communicate in GIFs, meme photos, or emojis?
Honestly, a mix of all. She's my mom and do you know Bitmoji?
So Ray Allen has the best Bitmoji in the history of the world. Like
do you text Ray Allen?
So he gave me his number, and like I only text him occasionally, but he texts me occasionally, and we've become friends. And friends is a strong word.
Okay.
I like him. I think he likes me.
Okay. Your acquaintances
We're
at minimum.
Acquaintances.
Okay.
Him and his wife and I are close.
Okay.
He and I are cool.
Cool.
I think I'm comfortable with that.
But like New England legend texting Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, right? So he's got the best bit emoji. So like it actually looks like him.
I could see it.
Oh, I'm going to show you.
I'm visualizing
I'm gonna show you.
I love it.
I'm going to show you. And it's like, I got that. I forget. I was like, it was when the Celtics won. It was like, oh my God, this is amazing. We're just dunking on the Lakers or something like that.
Yeah.
And Ray was in Japan. And I knew that because we were talking about something. And I'm going to get in trouble for dropping Ray Allen's name again. But
again?
I can't help it. Yeah, because this morning, that was the text I got because it was in that episode.
Oh, it was this morning?
Yeah, it was in the episode this morning. He goes, you're dropping Ray Allen's name. And then he's like, who did we interview? Who was the interview this morning?
Noah.
Noah, yeah. And then he's like, oh, Noah's really dropping names. I'm like, yeah, that's Noah.
Love that.
Like, Noah's got names to drop for days. But the Bitmoji, he sent back the Bitmoji. And I was like, oh my God,
it's him. Yeah, yeah. My mom's Bitmoji is wearing onewith. She has it in a little onewith bikini.
That's good. That's
yeah,
good.
She's
you want to
awesome.
know why?
Why?
Because there's no love in the world.
Truth.
Like the love between a mother and her children.
She'll wear it when it's snowing.
She'll wear it when it's snowing.
Sometimes it snows.
Yeah.
On some days.
All right. Thank you.
Signing off.
Yeah. Oh my God. I gotta show it to you.
I love it.
I don't know.